everyone, let's do some late night painting. Late for me. I don't usually paint this late, live anyway. A lot of times I'm around my table late, but I don't usually paint this late on a live. And it has been a while, so I'm going to give a few minutes. Let me get my iPad pulled up here. I forgot to do that. It's been so long since I've gone live, I forget what I'm supposed to do here. So let me see if I can get it pulled up, and I may not be able to. Let's see. Okay, give me just a second. Get it pulled up. Sorry, this was not a planned live, so I'm not as prepared as I typically am. Which is not always 100% ready anyway, even when I do plan them. So let's see if we can get going here. Get you pulled up. Say hi when you come on. Hi, Sally. Hello. Give me just a moment to get everything going here. Again, this was not a planned live. I intended to go live Saturday, and it just did not work out. Just want to be sure I can see comments, and I don't want to hear me. Okay. Sally, can you just say hello or hi or just something so that I can see that my comments are working? I think they are. We'll give it just a minute to catch up. Okay. So since I posted the sweatshirt that I painted with the big Santa on it for, actually it was for Tamara Bennett. And so I painted that for her and sent that. And since I did that, hi Patricia. Okay, let's see. I'm not seeing any comments yet, so maybe it'll just take it a minute to catch up on here. But anyway, I have gotten so many requests for instructions on how to paint on fabric. How did you do it? So I'm going to do, I probably won't get finished with this tonight, but y'all know I'm a slow painter, but especially with fabric, it just takes a little while longer. Let me get out of this and go back in and see if I can get your comments to come up, because it's no fun if I can't see what you're saying and chat with you. That's most of the fun of it. All right, we're going to try again here. It says we've got 4 people on. Yay! Okay, now I can see you. Great. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to show you first. We're going to be painting on an apron, just a plain apron, but I'm going to do it a little differently than I did the sweatshirt. So I want to show you how I did the pattern on the sweatshirt, just with something else that I've got going on. There we go. Okay, hi Rosemary and Patricia and Sally. Okay. All right, so I'm going to bring you down a little bit. And this is just a chair cushion that I had laying on the floor. I thought, what am I going to show them how I did the sweatshirt? Because I don't like to use graphite paper on fabric when I'm tracing a pattern on. Well, depending on the fabric. But a lot of times that just doesn't work on fabric for me. So what I do is I trace my pattern with chalk, just with children's chalk. You can get it anywhere. Walmart, Dollar General, I think everybody sells chalk. So I get a color that's going to show up on whatever fabric I'm using. Now this fabric is kind of fuzzy, so it might not show up real well. But if the pattern that I want is facing up and that's the direction I want it, but say the sweatshirt that I did, I wanted it facing the opposite direction of what it was. So I went in the kitchen or dining room and I held the pattern up to a window. I taped it on a window with the pattern part down. That way the light shining through showed me the pattern on the back side. So I traced the back side with my chalk, but we're going to go ahead and do this one on the front side. Let's just go ahead. We'll just do the mouth. So I get quite a bit on there because this chalk's just going to come off when you get done with it. So I just give myself a good outline here And this is a new piece of chalk, so you could also use chalk pencil. Now I got that one a little thick there, but just to give you the idea of what to do. So if you don't want to use graphite paper or how we're about to do it, because I'm just going to freehand a lot of the stuff tonight that we're doing, but I've got that chalk on the mouth, and you're just going to lay it wherever you're wanting your pattern on there. Just lay it on there good and just tap it. Don't move it around, but just tap it good. And that's why you want to get a good bit of chalk on there. Now you may not be able to see that on camera. I'm not sure. Yeah, you can. And there's your pattern. So put it on with chalk, turn it over whichever way it goes, and then just pat it on there. And then you've got your chalk on there. If you didn't like the way it turned out, just wipe it off and it's gone. So that's how I did the sweatshirt. I used chalk on my pattern, turned it over, and then just patted it off onto the fabric. But before you do that, be sure and wash your sweatshirt. Don't use fabric softener in it. That tends to make the paint not hold real well. So don't use fabric softener. Just wash it with just a little bit of detergent and then dry it. And then I get these shirt forms, cardboard forms. Now this one I've got folded under. They're longer, but I've got this one folded under. I've got it taped really well on the backs because I don't want it moving around as I'm painting. So I've got it pulled tight, taped, and then I have clips on it so that my surface that I'm going to be painting here is good and tight and is not going anywhere. So I got these at Hobby Lobby. I think just about any craft store has these, and they come in children's size or adult size. This is an adult size. Here's the center of it. So I use that hole as my center. Hi, Heather. Hello, hello. Tonight, I'm not really using a pattern. I'm just going to freehand it. Didn't really know I was going to be painting tonight, so we're just going to go with it. And y'all know me. There's nothing technical about me in any way, shape, or form. I just go to, I knew I wanted a circle. I want to do a face. We're going to do a ginger face. So I went and got a kitchen bowl that I thought was about the right size. And it is the right size of what I'm wanting. So I'm going to make sure I get it good and centered. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to take that chalk. You can take a pencil. You can even do it with a pen if you want to. I like doing it with chalk because that chalk's just going to go away after I'm done. I can just wipe it off before I seal it. Whoops. Okay, so I'm just going all the way around. And I got a little bit darker piece than what I typically would, just so that it would show up for you on camera. Let me bring you down a little bit more. I'll adjust that camera here in just a second. Okay, so there's my circle. Perfect size. Now I was about to just toss that bowl aside, and that would have broken all over the floor if I'd have tossed it like I was about to. Okay. So I've got my circle on, and that's what I'm wanting. Got it where I want it. And then when I get it all painted, which I don't know if I will be able to tonight, get it all done. I very much doubt it. But I'll be gluing some buttons on it. Red and white. I'll be gluing some on there, and then also I will sew them so that they will stay. So I'll put some buttons here and there. Don't know exactly what all I'm going to do with it yet. Okay, so I'm going to move my chalk out of the way for now because we're just going to do some base coating. And I want to use, mostly I use fabric paint. There's 2 or 3 different brands. Most of, I think tonight is Plaid Fabric Creation. I think that's the ones I'm using tonight. I don't think I have a different one. So fabric, it's already got the fabric medium in it, so you don't have to do anything to it. But I needed some colors that I didn't have in the fabric paint, so I've got the regular Deco Art Paint. You mix it half and half with fabric medium. Deco Art Fabric Medium. And I got it at Hobby Lobby. So you mix half and half. So I'm going to mix in my little honeycomb silicone thing here. I'm going to mix a little bit in there to get my base coating done. Now, on fabric, it's not like your wood or your canvas where you can just wash it off if you get it on. So you have to be really careful. Try not to drip it everywhere. If you do, rubbing alcohol will usually take it out, but sometimes it will not. It just depends on the type of fabric you're using. And this fabric is kind of stringy, so you have to make sure that it's not stringing over to your fabric. Make sure that that string breaks before you leave your palette. And you'll probably see me having to do that some. Okay, so that's antique gold. That's not what I'm wanting. I want honey brown to do the base coat of the face. But typically, I will do white on the fabric first. But since this honey brown is a darker color, it should cover without any problem. But if I'm using yellows, reds, you know, anything like that, I will do a base coat of white first. But I think this should be okay. All right, so I'm going to put just about 1/4 of that in there. And then I'm going to mix the same amount of that fabric medium. And then I'm just going to mix it up really well. And I'm going to get it off of my fabric to do that because I don't want it sloshing out on my fabric. So I'm just mixing it up until your paint color's back to what it should have been. It'll look milky at first with that softener in there. I mean, not softener, with the fabric medium in there. Okay, and we are good to go. And I'm just going to get an angle brush. These are the brushes I use to paint my hats with. They're a little bit stiffer, and I like that. It's a Royal Lang & Nickel. Got them at Walmart, but there's a soft bristle, but yet it's a little bit firm. And I'm going to wet my brush, but I'm going to wipe it off. I'm going to get the moisture, most of that moisture out of there. And then I'm just going to go to town with it. Hey, Miss Vicki. Hi, Linda. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Nancy. Miss Heather's on there. Good. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Okay, I don't like that brown, the way it's doing on that. So let's, and this is an apron that I got off of Amazon, and they were on sale really inexpensive. So they're not super thick, but they washed out really, really nice. I washed them and then ironed them. I didn't really have to do much ironing on them. I'm going to go ahead and do white first. So let's get that dry. I thought the brown would cover it okay, but I don't think it's going to. I've not painted on this material before, so you're learning with me tonight. But the main thing getting your pattern on is you can use graphite paper if you're very, very careful and don't smear it on your fabric. Something I forgot to do that I typically do is put some parchment paper or wax paper underneath so it doesn't stick to the cardboard. I didn't do that. I may be sorry that I didn't, but we'll just pull it off. This is going to be my apron, so it really doesn't matter much. So let's go ahead and do white, and this is the fabric paint. So let's give it a couple of base coats of that. And I'm going to go with a little bit bigger brush. And I'll just give it a base coat. Okay, yeah, that's helping. And I'm just going to follow just inside that circle. And see, I'm being careful to make sure that sometimes it gets really stringy and won't let go like spaghetti. This white is doing pretty good. It's not really being very stringy. I think the biggest thing with painting on fabric for me is patience, because you do have to give it a little more dry time. And like on, let's see, on one of the shirts I painted Charlie, Tamara's little girl, I got some drips where there shouldn't have been any paint, and I could not get it to come out enough to where you couldn't tell it. So I painted butterflies, or I don't remember what I painted. I just made them happy little accidents and I painted something, made something out of them, and it made it look like they were meant to be there. Once you get this first layer on, first or second layer on, it's a little easier to paint with it, to paint on it, because it gives it some stiffness and it feels more like a canvas. So you can see I'm putting it on very liberally. Not worried about that chalk line because it'll go away. You want to be sure you get rid of the chalk line before you seal it. Once you seal it, that chalk line is going to be there to stay. So the first couple of coats always takes more paint because that fabric is really soaking it in. Now you could probably seal it first with something. I don't know. I've never done it that way. But that's just a thought. I may paint up several of these for the craft show next year. I've still got so many hats to paint that I purchased when I thought I was just going to go crazy with hats, and then I got burned out because I did so many. I did like 200 hats. So it's like, if I never paint another hat in my life, I'll be okay. but now I'm kind of getting back in the mood to paint some hats, because I've got like 60 hats that I ordered last year that still have to be painted. And I sold all but I think one. I may have one hat left. I don't remember. I might have sold. If I have any left, it's only one. So out of those 200 hats, or right at 200, I don't remember exactly what the number was, but they're gone. All but possibly one. Oh, thank you, Linda. Yes, it is an apron. I'm sorry. And I may not see all of your comments right at first, because I got to kind of stick with this so that I don't run way over. And again, we probably won't get finished with it. But yes, it's an apron, and I've got it taped down to shirt form cardboard that I got at Hobby Lobby. Oh, so finally got all the decorations up for Christmas. It was a challenge for me this year because we've been in our other house 38 years, and I could decorate it with my eyes closed. I knew where everything went. I could have it done in no time. But when this new house didn't have near the wall space that I did out at the other house, because it's more of an open concept, and there's more doorways and openings, and so I had to get creative with all my stuff. But we did it. Mr. Pam was so helpful. I bought a garage door. I'm laughing because I bought a garage door cover. Christmas one, and it's Santa in the middle, and then it's supposed to be the stalls, all the reindeer in their stalls, and they're so cute. It's very I'm a very childlike Christmas decorator. I like anything that's going to make the kids notice it and be happy. And so I ordered it. I was looking at one that was a 4.5 star. It had a video and everything to show you how to put it together. I mean, how to put it on the garage door so it would stay there and not come off and buckle and all this good stuff. Well, we got it. And I ordered the right picture, but I didn't order from that company. And this one that we got came with 0 instructions, nothing, not even a picture to show you what it looks like on the garage door. It didn't come with all the things needed. We had to get some things of our own to put it up, and Mr. David was, or Mr. Pam was quite the sport, but he said, did you go back and look at this one? It only had a 3-star rating, and it said all kinds of things about it. And I said, I clicked on the wrong one. I'm so sorry. It took us probably, I don't know, a good couple of hours to get it on the garage door, but it's there, and it may stay there through January. I don't know. But he still loves me. So we're doing good. Okay, so this is the first layer of white, and I'm going to put another one on there. This ticking is really, stripe is really dark. I just want to get another good layer on there so that I can make sure that brown's going to stick. That is still wet. So be sure you put some wax paper or foil, something in between your piece and the cardboard so that it doesn't stick to that cardboard. Okay, we're good. Thought about doing some fabric painting at a paint party, but there is a lot of drying time in between, so I don't know how that would work. All right, let's throw some more white on there. This paint, Delaney, is, hi Dixie. Yeah, I know, the walls, I liked the walls too. Most of it is going to be Plaid Fabric Creations I got from Hobby Lobby. That's fabric paint that already has the fabric medium in it. You don't have to do anything to it. And then I needed some different colors, so the colors that I don't have in the fabric paint, I'm just using regular Deco Art paint and mixing the fabric medium into it. You mix it half and half. You just pour it in and then just mix it real good with your paintbrush handle. I washed my fabric first, and you can go back to the beginning of the video once it's over and see how I got the pattern on the sweatshirt that I did, that I have posted on my page. This one I'm just kind of freehanding, but I used a bowl to get my circle. And it does get, once it dries, it gets kind of stiff, but that's what you want. So the white that I'm using is the fabric paint. And I'm just using regular paint brushes. These are Royal Nickel. They've just got a little bit stiffer bristle than the other ones I had. Not much, but just a little bit. I have had an odor in the house we moved from. In this house, I'm now starting to smell an odor, and I couldn't figure out what on earth. I mean, it doesn't smell bad, but it's just a distinctive smell. And I finally, I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out, but it's my paint. You can smell acrylic paint, and I guess I'd had COVID and hadn't been smelling real well for the longest. Now try to really work it down in the fabric, kind of like you would a canvas. anyways, I finally figured out it's my paint. When I've painted something and I walk in, I can smell the paint. And I really didn't think acrylic paint. Like when I smell it on the plate, I don't smell anything. But that is definitely what it is. So I'm just kind of rubbing it in now. Okay, we're going to dry that. And I think now that our honey brown should cover it okay. But like if you're doing sunflowers or something like that, you definitely want to put an undercoat of white on it. And these stripes are a little bit raised, so they may not go away completely. Yes, it can be washed. You want to wash it first when you get it. Do not use fabric softener on them when you wash them. That breaks down the paint for some reason. But so I washed these in warm water, and then I ironed them. But these came out really good. They didn't get all wrinkled and bunched up like some of them do. Once you get it painted, and you've used either the fabric paint or the paint with fabric medium in it, let it cure for at least 48 hours. I seal mine with Mod Podge. And then before you do the Mod Podge, you want to heat set it in your dryer. Once the paint's completely dry, you want to run it in your dryer on high heat for about 10 to 15 minutes and heat set the paint. And then I usually put some Mod Podge on it, and then you're good to go. I don't wash mine unless I absolutely have to, but when I do, I wash it on the delicate or hand wash cycle in cold water. Okay, I'm a little bit chicken. So I'm going to put just a little bit more white on it. Rather be safe than sorry. And there may be a better way to do this. This is just the way I've always done it. And it seems to work just fine. I've got, well, actually the very first thing I ever painted was on a sweatshirt out at our college here, our community college, county college, was offering a painting class. That's been nearly 40 years ago. And it was on fabric, on a sweatshirt. And it was a Christmas puppy dog with a bow in its mouth. Now, if you were doing on a solid background, you wouldn't have to put this many coats on. But this stripe is being contrary and wanting to show through. And it may still show through a little bit. Okay, let's dry that and then try to put our honey brown. We've already mixed it half and half. Okay, I'm going to let my brush soak a minute while we're drying that. Yes, it is going to be a gingerbread. You can do snowman. You can any pattern that you want to do on them. We could do like the candy corn that we did. We could do that on here. You can do anything you want. And then I'm going to put some red and white buttons. I'm going to sew on here somewhere. I don't know. Maybe where the up here. This is the top. Maybe up here where the straps meet or something. So I'm not really sure what all I'm going to do with it yet. Mr. Pam had to be at a meeting tonight, so I thought, no, I better get in there and paint. I have not painted with these girls in a month, at least. I don't think. Seems like it anyway. Thank y'all for helping me with the comments. Hi, Rhonda. Trying to stay focused on it so we can get a little bit done on it. Okay, that's probably not completely dry, but I think it's dry enough that we can move on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead with this honey brown that we mixed up. Okay, covering much better. Now we'll do a couple of coats at least with this. And you're going to do shading, highlighting just like you do on your wood or your canvases. Now this ticking is a dark blue, but you can get them in. This would be really cute on a red one. Red striped. And remember, we've still got a pink line of chalk around here that will go away once we're done with it. Okay, let me go to that larger brush that we were using. Now I want to dry my brush off really well. I've got a towel in my lap here. So we just cover a little more area. And I'm just working it in. It looks terrible at first because you can see all the brush strokes. So don't be afraid to try it. And go back and watch the tricks on getting your pattern on. Because I know at first I was like, okay, how am I going to, I don't want to use graphite paper. I'm afraid I'll smear it all over it. And some things, you know, I'm not able to freehand. Some things I can, but, and so I came up with the that chalk idea. And it's been working. And I don't want to take the time to go in on the computer and try to figure out how to reverse the pattern if I'm wanting it to face a different way. So I tell you how to do that easily with some chalk in a window. And you have to do it during the daytime when the sun's coming through the window, so you'll have some light. Now it looks really messy right now, doesn't it? It looks like, oh, this is one of those, you got to trust the process. We got so cold in the house a couple of nights ago. We couldn't figure out why the thermostat was saying 74. But we both said there's no way it's 74 degrees in this house. It is freezing. And we figured out finally that we've got the Christmas tree in the corner where the thermostat is. And the Christmas tree lights were putting off, they're just the little bitty lights, but they were putting off just enough heat that it was keeping the thermostat thinking it was 74 degrees. So the heat wasn't coming on. So we had to turn the heat up a little bit higher to make it adjust for it. So we were freezing. And when Mr. Pam says he's cold, it's cold because he never gets cold. All right, let's dry that. So we're having to learn a lot in the new place. We did figure out how to get the fireplace. It's a gas fireplace. We figured out how to get that going. We have been busy. Yes, we have. Non-stop busy. And we had Thanksgiving in our house. So we had a group there, and we're having Christmas here at the house. And my daughter's coming in from California. She'll be here for a couple of weeks. And she's bringing our grand dog. She's never been to this house, the grand dog. And we had not seen the grand dog in a year and a half. She was our baby when they were here. She loved coming to Grammy and Papa's, so I am so anxious to see her reaction when she gets here and she sees us in, you know, it's in a different house, and so I'm really anxious to see how it all works out. Okay, so we're getting there. Now, if I were doing these not live, I would have 3 or 4 of them going, and while this one was drying on its own, I would be painting the next one, and so on and so on. And by the time I finished the last one, then the first one would be dry to go to the next step on it. So you can really get them knocked out pretty quickly. Don't know if one more coat's going to do it. You may have to put 2 more on it. So it is a lot of paint, dry, paint and dry, paint and dry. But there's so much fun and so cute when you get done. And they make a really nice gift. I wore a Santa Claus apron to the craft show. I had so many people ask me, where did you get that? And I bought it. I didn't paint it. I bought it at Hobby Lobby. So I always wear an apron when I'm in my craft booth. Draws attention. Okay, I think it will take one more coat after this one, but then I think we're good. And we'll go ahead and do some shading. This is Deco Art Honey Brown mixed with half fabric medium and half paint. We might do a little bit of highlighting in the center too. Now you can see how I'm being generous with the paint when I'm going on with it, because I want it to go down in the fabric pores. Okay, let's get that dry, and then I think one more coat should do it. Hi, Miss Jerry and Roxy. Miss Diane, we've had several hop on. Now you can still just barely see some of that striping through it, but I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm going to put one more coat on it, and then we're going to be done. Because by the time you get the details and everything on it, we'll be fine. I know the dry time is boring, but you don't have a choice. You got to do it. So does everybody have their shopping done? I am completely finished, except for going and getting the cash for the cash that I'm putting in cards. Everything else is bought. I've just got to wrap it. And I'm going to work on that Wednesday and get that done. Okay, he's getting better, but see, you can still see some yuckiness through there, so I want to still want to put another coat on there, and we'll see, try to go in a different direction here. I think I'm going to have enough paint without having to mix some more. When it's wet, it looks like it's covering just wonderful. When you dry it and you see some of that splotchiness through there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use up the paint that I've got. And I'm kind of patting it on a little bit. I'm not too worried about right around the edges here because we're going to shade that, so it should be fine. So I'm patting it on in some spots and then just smoothing it out. See if there's any really bad place. Roxy, the snowman that you posted, that you painted, that was in the frame, I think, you did an amazing job on that. Don't know that I could have done that. Okay, we're going to go with that. And this is just the silicone, so it'll dry, and I'll just peel that paint right out when we're done with it. Okay, wash that brush out. And I'm going to set that aside because I'll probably need it again in a minute. And let's go with, this is called G-A-N-C-H-E. I guess it means brown. I don't know what, but it's the fabric paint, and it's a darker brown. Pretty much like your, in between a burnt umber and, or a dark chocolate maybe. So let's get that dry a little bit. Okay, let's get a little bit of that on our plate. And I'm just going to use that same brush. And this time I'm going to have it just a little bit wet. And our paint's still a little bit wet on the face, which will work out pretty good. But I'm going to get a little moisture in that brush. And then I'm just going to tip the toe part. That's the long part of the angle brush in. Okay, now I want you to see how stringy that is. You have to be careful that that doesn't string over onto your fabric. Okay, a little more moisture. Make sure that string breaks before you move that brush on over. And I'm kind of working it back and forth. It's a little bit different than your wood. You just have to kind of work it into that fabric, dipping in the water again, wiping it off. I'll get you a little closer. Okay, I'm going to turn it just a little bit so that I can make it go the direction I want it to go. So now it's upside down for you, but right side up for me. And then you just go with it just like you would on your wooden piece or canvas. A little more water. And you can tell if when it stops flowing for you that you need a little more moisture in your brush. The paint is wet enough in some areas that I don't need to re-dip. Okay, so we've got that done. It looked like it was fun. So much detail in it. I love the shading and highlighting. Okay, let's put that aside. And let's do a little bit of highlighting in the center of it with, let's use some of this antique gold. And it's just the regular paint, so I do need to mix some of that fabric medium in with it. So I'm just gonna go ahead, and it's not gonna take much at all. So, but you still want it half and half with the fabric medium. And just mix it up real well. And I'm just mixing it in that little honeycomb until the milkiness goes away, the white goes away, and you can see your true color again. Okay, now this I want to be a dry brush. I don't want any moisture in my brush. So I'm going to dip in there, and I'm going to use another one of the cones to kind of work it down in there. You can also do that on your plate. work it down in those bristles. But then I'm going to get most of it off on, oops, on my paper towel. So get it back in there. Okay, and then we're going to come right back over here and just, now this is probably going to be hard for you to see, but it's just going to give it a little bit of a highlight. So I'm reloading and then taking it off. Just kind of gives it some more layer and keeps it from looking so flat. And then we could go even a little bit lighter with some straw color, but I want to be careful and not where there's some wet spots there. I don't want to, that aren't completely dry. I don't want to take the paint off that I've already put on, some of that base coat color. Really needs to be a little bit drier, but for time's sake, we're going to go ahead with it. Okay, done with that brush. It's in the water. In the water and soaking. Okay, let's get that dry. Then we want to get our face drawn on. And we'll see if our little chalk pencil will show up on that. I love these little chalk pencils. They're, no, I can't see the brand. Let's see. There it is. B-I-A-N-Y-O. Tamara Bennett has them in her shop, Southern Adornments, or shopdoorhangers.com. Shopdoorhangers.com, you can get them. And I'm sure you can get them at any art supply. Okay, let's let that cool a minute. It's pretty hot. Okay, and I'm going to, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to take my toothbrush and just brush that pink chalk off. I wouldn't do it with a wet cloth. You can do it with the dry one, but a wet cloth may make it show up. So I'm just taking a toothbrush or even a stiff paintbrush, and that pink's gone. So we're good to go on that. Okay, so now the eyes. Again, you can use a pattern. By this point, you could easily use the graphite paper, as long as you don't get it on your cloth. But I still like the chalk method if I'm going to be using a pattern. Trace your pattern, then lay it down and just pat the back of that pattern, and it'll get that off for you. So let's come with the nose. I want the nose in the center. There's my center where that hole is for the collar. Underneath here, it's got a collar drawn on this, so you can center it. So I'm going to go down right here. That's going to be my center. Okay, so, and I'm going to do, I don't know if it's really a rectangle, but I do a kind of like a C. Let's see if I can use this other chalk, see if it'll show it better. So I do a C to the center, and then a backward C to the center. And there's our nose. Now I got that one a little crooked. So I'm going to take my damp cloth, since it's already painted, and I'm just going to wipe it right back off. I'm going to dry it just a little bit, and then I'm going to redraw it. That's why I love, love, love chalk. It is so forgiving. Okay, so let's do it over here. A C, and then a backward C, and then just connect them. Okay, so that's where our nose is going to be. Okay, let's decide what kind of eyes we want to do. Let's just do okay, so that one's kind of leaning in that way. Come across and get them kind of straight. I mean, kind of the same height over here. And again, I'm just freehanding this, so you could easily do a pattern so that you get them exactly the same. Need to round that one out a little better. Okay, we're good there. And then we'll do some cheeks right about here and here. And then we'll do a mouth, but let's go ahead and dry brush some cheeks on first, and let's do that in the red. And this is fabric paint. So again, brush is dry, no water at all. I'm going to work it down in there. I'm really working it in those bristles, and then I'm just wiping it off on my paper towel, getting most of it off. Okay, let me hold it up. I can't see for that light to see how much I've got. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more. Okay, I think we're good there. Okay, as much of that red as I can get out. And then we're going to paint with, this is a crimson red. It's a little bit darker. And we'll shade with that one, but let's go ahead and, so now I'm going to load the brush straight with that red. I usually do their noses in the rockwood red. But for time's sake tonight, and since we're doing fabric, we're just going to go with what we've got. Okay, let me dry that. Okay, since most of that paint's out of there, I'm going to go ahead and do another little coat on here. Okay, and then I'm going to go straight into that paint for the nose. And y'all, I'm just kind of winging this tonight as to what colors we're using and just kind of freehanding things on. It's an Apron, Roxy. Hi, Sheila. It's an Apron, clipped and taped to a shirt cardboard. It's in the form of a shirt. I got it at Hobby Lobby. Okay, I still want just a little more red on there. There we go. Okay, let's get that a little drier. Okay, now I'm going to get some of that crimson, darker red. Could even use that dark brown. Well, let's try the red first, and if I don't like it, we'll go with the brown. And you can see with this brown right here how stringy that paint was that time I loaded my brush. So you have to be really careful with that. This fabric paint just has a way sometimes of doing that. Okay, so I'm putting some of that darker red on and then getting it off. Okay, I think I'm going to want some of the brown. So I'm going to mix some brown in with it. Get it off. Okay, I think that will be okay. And then we'll put a little bit of white across the top later on with some highlights. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. And you've got the creases of the board here that's making it look creased, but it's not. When you take it off, it won't be creased. So let's go ahead and put some white in the eyes. And then we'll do the, we've got to do the rickrack. And this may be when I finish on the next live. We'll see how far we get with it. Tomorrow is Keep Jack Day, so we have to get up at 5 and head, and he's about an hour and a half from us. We keep him every Tuesday, so try not to go to bed too late on Monday nights. I'm really wanting to paint some more blue jean jackets for next year's craft show too. I haven't taken one to the craft show here. I took one to a craft show that I went to somewhere else, and I put a higher price than what I thought it would sell for because it was time consuming, and it was one of the first things to sell. Didn't even quibble about the price, so I was pleased with that. Now this is the point where he kind of looks like a ghost instead of a gingerbread face. Once you get all your base coating down, I really enjoy painting on it. I like the way when you're shading, floating, how it does on fabric. It's for sure a different feel. Okay, let's try that. It's all the details that brings it together. We'll try to get our base coating done tonight, and then we've got something going on every single day this week. So I'm not sure which day, but I'll try to give you some warning ahead of when I'm going to do it so that you can finish it out with me. Now, I really don't care about the top because it's going to be darker. I mean, it's going to be black. I just bumped and made that eye a little bit bigger. Okay, so let me turn it around and see, because I made that eye, I accidentally hit my brush and made it go a little bit larger. Okay, I think we're good there. All right, let's try it. Put one more coat down at the bottom. Okay, we covered that pink up completely with the chalk, so probably won't have to do any washing around that. Maybe a little bit. I can see a little bit there. Now, before I do anything else to those eyes, I want to go around them with that dark brown that we've already got on our plate, just to kind of offset the eyes a little bit. That's a terrible brush to do that with. Get a different one here. Let's just use one of these. Okay, so I'm going to go around And I'm just dipping the toe of that brush. Okay, and let's do the same thing on the other side. Let me turn it around a little bit. With and without. So I dipped it in water again. Okay, and let's go a little bit under the nose. Can't really see what I'm doing because of the light. Okay, so we went under the nose also. Keeps it from looking so flat. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the black. See what brush I want to do that with. Now I'm just kind of walking myself through this as we go, so that's why I'm talking to myself so much. So I'm like, okay, what do I need to do next? Now the black usually gets really stringy. See that stringiness there? So just be careful that it doesn't pull over to your fabric. Okay, so I switched to a round brush. I get it outlined and then we'll fill it in. And we'll go under this black with a little bit of blue fog. I think it's heavy blue fog. And it's the Anita's brand from Walmart. Okay, so I want to get it pretty close. So I'm going to come over here. Sorry, did I have the plate in front of it? You can't see it through the plate, can you? Okay, got it outlined. Ooh, I almost strung that across. Okay, let's see if you can see this. See how stringy it is. It clings to that brush and doesn't want to let go. Best way I know to describe it is like when you're eating spaghetti. Okay, let's dry that and put one more coat on it. Hi, Kim. How did your sale go, Kim? So wish we lived closer together. Still not quite dry. Okay, I'm gonna turn him around. He's getting there. Okay, we'll let that dry just another second, and we'll put some little highlight on his nose while our white is still wet. And then we'll dot his cheeks, but I don't want to do any dots right now because it takes them a while to dry, and I'll just drag my hand through it. I know I will. I don't even have to think about that one. Okay, after I dried it, you can see a few little spots there that the brown is showing through. Okay, let's dry that, and let's go ahead and put the blue underneath the pupils. Okay, so I want a little bit of blue. Excuse me. This is blue fog, heavy blue fog, but it makes a pretty eye color. And I'm just going to put a dot of that. That's all we need. And a couple of dots of that fabric medium. And mix, mix, mix till all the white cloudiness is gone. Okay, and then we can just use that angle brush again. And I'm going to dip just the toe in there. I'm loading it and then just kind of working it in a little bit on my plate. And we'll go underneath each of the pupils. And we may have to do it a couple of times. And I'll do a couple of different coats on there because I want that to really show up. So we'll let that be drying, and we'll go over to our left eye. Okay, let's dry that and put another coat. Almost looks like Deco Art's periwinkle blue. think we're going to finish his eyes and then we'll work on him some more in the next one. So I know everybody's got to go to work in the morning. Oops. Okay, look at the difference putting that blue in his eyes made. And I'll probably go even a little bit darker. And then we've got the mouth to go. And then his rick-rack. And we'll do some red and white on here. And then buttons. So we've got a little ways to go on him. Before he's magical. I love it when all the details start bringing them to life. So let's make this a little bit darker. Okay, so I'm going to take my liner brush. My little bitty liner brush. And we're going to go just right under the eye. Okay, let's make this one over here a little bit longer. Okay, and let's outline the eyes. We'll let that dry, and then we'll put a little bit of pink underneath there. Now this is still wet, so I'm going to have to be really careful. Just right up to where that black starts. Same thing on this one. Now he still looks a little scary, but he's getting cuter. I'm just a little more cautious with this when I'm doing the fabric because, again, it's hard to wipe off a mistake as easily as you do when you're doing it on wood or canvas. Okay, get a little bit of water in my brush. I'm going to turn him again. Okay, let's give him some eyebrows. And he needs some eyelashes. Yeah, I guess, Roxy, I will. I haven't even thought of a price yet. But if you want him, private message me. Now you might want to wait and see what he looks like when I get done with him first. Okay, let's get some eyelashes. So I like to do a long one and then a short one. Long, and I redip. And I'm going into that black so I can just really pull it out. Short, long. And then you can put some little ones in between. And a long one out to the top, out to the bottom, and then out straight. Look at the difference just putting eyelashes on it makes. Oops. So sweet. Okay, let me get these done. I need to clean my area. I am running out of room here. Okay, so we want to go long and short. Let's put another one up here. And then straight up. Okay, and then we'll have to put the dots and a little bit of white highlight in there. I want to do some pink or a little bit of red or something underneath that. The eye, cheekbone, I guess you would call it. Hi, Zelma. Hello, Miss Peggy Wilson. A lot of you are up late. Well, I guess it's not that late. It's not even 9:30 yet. Okay, I'm going to mix a little bit of white with a little bit of this red. See if we can get a little pink there. We don't need much. Put some more in his cheeks too. Okay, let's I want the dots over there. I'm trying to be careful because I don't want him to look cross-eyed. But we do need to go ahead and do his mouth too. So let's take this chalk pencil. That way they can be drying overnight. But this is the basics. And go back to the beginning. To see how to put your pattern on. And once you do that, then it's pretty much smooth sailing. Okay, let's bring that mouth down a little further. And over a little bit. There we go. Okay, I'm going to grab one of my smaller brushes to fill him in with. Or not smaller, larger actually. Angle brush. And you do have to go back and forth quite a bit when you're doing fabric to get it in those pores. Okay, somebody look and tell me how long I've been on here. I don't want to go over 2 hours. How long have I been live? Thank y'all so much. Thanks for hopping on. I feel like I've deserted you. But I typically take December very... I take a lot of time off during December just to be with the family. And with all the activities that we have going on. I just got some black where I didn't want it. Okay, we're good. 133, okay. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. Let's go ahead and do some rickrack around him. Make him look like a, and that can be drying overnight. We'll do the dots in the eyes. Need to get a little more white to do that. For the rickrack, I'm going to use, it's called Nude, and it's the fabric paint. So definitely a little bit darker than the white. I think that'll look okay. But let's get some dots on these eyes. And I want some dots. One, two, three. One, two, three. Okay, those of you that bought the dotters, have you used them and what do you think about them? I've got some more shapes that we're going to be working on. I haven't really offered those except for the live sale. Okay, I'm letting this black dry. It's going to need a second coat on it. Of course, these dots will have to really dry. Can't hold him up too much with the dots being so wet, but that's where we're going with him. Oh, great, Linda. Sorry, I didn't know I had him off camera. Okay, so what I did there was just dotted with the end of the paintbrush, just dotted, and then just drew a line with the little liner brush. Okay, let's see where I want to start with this. We're going to do the rickrack, and then we're going to call it a night. Oh, I haven't even opened that one. Haven't used that one before. See if I can get it off without getting it flying everywhere on camera. Y'all know I've done that before. Went everywhere. This almost has a little bit of a pink tint to it. But I think we'll be okay. We're going to try it anyway. Stringy, stringy. So I'll have to be really careful. And it's pretty thin too, so I'll have to do a second coat over it, but that's okay. And that's when he starts looking like Mr. Gingerbread. Definitely a second coat after this one dries good. And you see how I'm twisting and turning when I get that out of there, trying to break that stringy line. See how that just changes him so much? I just love, love, love. Every little detail makes such a difference. And I'll let this dry overnight and then do a second coat. We won't have to go through a second coat on camera. I'll just let it dry really well. Okay, and then my plans are, for those of you that have come on late, I've got buttons that I will probably put like up here where the straps are. I'll put, I've got red and white buttons. So I will probably put them like up here and may put, I'll glue them and then sew them as well. And then I've got some just plain red buttons that I'll put some white ones on. I don't know. I'll put some buttons somewhere to do, just to add a little bit to them. And then I may do some shading out around him. I don't really know that we need that, but I'll have to put his tongue in. And I may do some red and white along the top here of the little something up here to put some red up here at top. So let me pull you up here and get you up. There we go. Okay, I can't hold him completely up because of the dots in the eye are still wet. See if we can do it really fast so they don't drip. But that's what he's looking like so far. Looks like he's had surgery back here. But you want to make sure that you have it on there good and tight so that it's not moving around on you when you're, while you're trying to paint it. Because you don't want that to happen. Okay, ladies, I am going to call it a night. Thank you so much. Can you share a link to the apron? I will put it in the comments. Let me see if I've still got it. I'm sure I can. Like I said, I'm not techie. I'm not a technical person, but I think I can get a link for you. What I did was I just went on Amazon and typed cotton aprons, I believe. Cotton teaking, teaking, T-I-C-K-I-N-G aprons, and they came up, and there were 2 to a package, I think. They were all different kinds, and I got them on Cyber Monday, so they were cheaper. They were like $1 or $2 off of what they typically are. But I will see if I can get a link, and I'll put it up in the title of the. I think you have to really put it in the first comment. I don't think they like for you to put it in the title. So I'll put it in a comment there. But thank you so much for watching with me. And this was a late night for me to be painting. But I'm going to go do my Bible reading. And then I think I'm going to call it a night. And we're going to go keep little Jack tomorrow. And I tell you, he's just got something new every week now. He's really talking. And we just never know what it's going to be. Last week it was... see you later, alligator. And so he's just really discovered now, hey, I can talk and I can communicate, and he is just going to town with it. All right, love you, ladies. Thank you so much for being my supportive team, and no matter what time of day I get on here, some of you hop on, and I appreciate it so much. If I don't talk to you again, but I will, because we're going to finish this up online. But have a wonderful holiday season. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.